Behind every remarkable front stage performance is a team of ordinary people combining their talents to create extraordinary results. Join us as we go behind the curtain of selling homes and helping agents build better businesses to discuss the ideas, the principles, and the strategies that empower our Century 21 support team to maximize their potential and thrive in their unique abilities. Welcome to the Backstage. Welcome back, ladies. You finally got your goal, Vic.
I did. I'm so excited.
I mean, we've been talking about it for a long time.
Yes.
This was the podcast that kept getting kicked down the road.
Yes, but this was the meeting that got... I tried to schedule a meeting with Abbie and Dylan like 10 months ago, and they looked at me like, what are you doing? I'm like, we got to do this, guys.
Okay, well,
We got to do
here
what?
we are.
We got to do goal setting. We got to help our staff find purpose. We got to go on this journey.
What took us so long?
You
We
guys.
were probably busy. We were busy. I don't remember.
No,
what we
it's
did
a-
10 months ago.
You said the word journey.
Journey. You can't start
you
at
can't
the
start
top.
there.
We had to start at the bottom, so it took a little bit.
The bottom. Job skills, life skills. Know yourself.
Know yourself, EQ, you with others, and then purpose, goal setting.
So yeah, I'm glad we're there. I feel like it was breaking the seal, maybe is the right way to put it.
Yep.
What was holding us back from actually doing this as a crew?
None of us could do goal setting.
I was gonna say,
How are we going to teach it if
I think
we need to
that's-
learn it? Yeah.
Yeah, I was super insecure. I'm like, how am I gonna help others when I have no clue where I'm going in life? I can't do that.
Well, I appreciate you starting there because maybe that's some of the goal today is just to get a little vulnerable and be open and honest as where we're at on this journey as well.
Yeah.
So well done. You finally
Thanks.
got us there. and it actually ended up being a fun morning at our annual staff meeting. I think I got a little distracted in the afternoon. There was just so much stuff to cover.
Yeah.
But the goal setting section was a lot of fun. So let me start with this with you guys. Why don't we just I told a story about how this is not a strength of mine. I've always been anti-goal setting. Is that, I don't know if that's the right way to put it. It's certainly not been a thing that I grew up with a family that encouraged us to do this sort of thing. And I really don't like cutting clippings out of magazines and making, what do they call them, vision boards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not my thing.
Manifest.
So I told the story how years ago I finally found a context that changed my thinking about that. What has your personal relationships been with goal setting?
Mine started super early because of sports. So that has always, like professionally, that has always been a thing in my life. But it became very just the same and very uninspiring.
What do you mean the same?
I mean, so competing in sports, right? Like you always
Win the
want to
game,
win
win the
the game.
championship, yeah.
My dream was always to play the Solheim Cup. That's the Ryder Cup for women. You know, it was, you set these like super, super long-term goal. And then, but it was always to win. Right?
To win.
So then I learned then to get more stuck in the process. So like, okay, that's great. You're not going to win all of it, but what are you going to do to still make small improvements? Which probably eventually got me to pretty small thinking and has made lifetime big goals very difficult. Then I've had, we can get into this later, but I've had a couple of things in my life where everything just changed, right? Because I'm clearly not golfing. So that goal I had as a little girl and the picture I always had changed 10 years ago. More than that, probably 15 years ago. But
So in the last 10 years, have you been a person that has intentional goals that either are written or clear in your mind or?
in my job, but not my personal life.
Okay.
Yeah, it has been a little bit more survival on my end, I think.
How about you?
Yeah, I don't think I grew up in a family where we set goals or were encouraged to, but I think of New Year's resolutions. That was something I was always powered by, like my personality. I'm like, ooh, we got to write these down. Like New Year's Eve was such a big deal, always, because you have to write it down. If you don't sit and you stop and write it down, then if it's New Year's Day, you've already missed the mark.
You're so disciplined too. I can see you like every month. I did it.
Yeah. So I think I started, when I was younger on my own because of that. But then as I came into adulthood, had kids, had goals, I started to set actual realistic goals. Like I'm sure when I was a teenager, my goals were like, I don't even know what they were, but they were silly. But the older I got, my goals became like, do 2 rounds of Whole30, a diet type of a thing, like get my nutrition back in, or get to the gym 3 days a week, or financials and stuff like that. And I even built some of those practices throughout the year that helped me be held accountable. And so I think I'm not good at the life goals that we're going to talk about, but I have gotten really good about setting like intentional and holding myself accountable to like annual goals.
Short term.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about you?
Goal setting was easy when I was younger because it was all structured around the school setting. So it was very easy to like, well, my goal is always to be the top of the class, and my goal is always to have straight A's, and my goal is always to And then I left school a decade ago and have never set a goal since, because I was like, well, I don't know how to do this anymore without a very structured, for me, easy system to follow. And I never set personal goals either while I was in school. It was always academic things that I didn't really have to challenge myself too much on. So it's been a decade of floating without any real specific, because I didn't know how to imagine anything outside of a structure that was very planned out for 15 years, Yeah. So I don't know.
Why? I mean, I heard family. We didn't grow up with families that helped us think this way. We didn't. I'm trying to get to the root of why we all suck at this so much.
Yeah. I lost my accountability. Like, it was built into the system I was operating in, and there was accountability, and
so
every
for
year
you,
at the
sports
same time
was the context, and for you, it's been almost like finances has been a core
and
area
health.
For you, and health.
Yep.
I just didn't know what I want. I don't know that I still know what I want. It's hard to set goals if I don't know. Like, you have pictures in your head as a kid or as a young adult, and then when I'm like, well, I don't think I'm going to be the editor of a magazine. So what is my realistic goal? And I don't know.
I think we're wired to get short-term, we want to have short-term satisfactions. And so setting goals that are going to take us years to reach, nobody's interested in thinking and talking about it. And so our brains immediately want to go to something that we can accomplish in the next 2 weeks. I think it's also just a natural wiring to not be able to think that big.
Well, especially as an ET, both of you.
Yeah. Yes.
We need to do widget, okay? I think we keep saying
We
this.
said this on every
We said this on
Another,
every podcast.
just like goal setting.
The
Next
next
one.
podcast is widget. But as an ET in widget, like, I think you guys are wired that way because that's how you're wired.
Yes.
I'm imagining that there's some people that are visionaries that think differently, and maybe all they ever do is dream about like massive, crazy long-term goals.
Yeah.
But what I'm learning, even just in hearing you guys talk now this morning, is how unhopeful the word goals is. Because I think goals it lends itself towards sporting thoughts or short-term or New Year's resolutions or
Like measurable, achievable, small, specific.
which is good, right?
Yeah.
Like we talk about SMART goals, and that's a helpful thing. What we're actually discussing here isn't that. It's what you said, almost direction or larger objective. Where are we going? What are we trying to accomplish? What's meaningful? What matters?
Which I would call purpose, but maybe somebody defines that differently.
And that's maybe more what we're all missing and weren't raised to think like, which is why we struggle with the short-term setting of goals unless there's a context to create it, like work makes us do it, or we get back into a sport, I guess.
Yeah. Or a New Year's.
It's a new year.
So talk me through last week. We're not going to talk about the part where I cried.
You cried. Oh, that's the best part.
No, we didn't bring it up, but now that you did. No, it was nice.
I have to just get that out.
Yeah.
So what I'm interested in is your personal experience then. So what was your experience going through? And I want to be clear, we did not do the lifetime extender. The lifetime extender is a very specific exercise that we did at Coach. And what I did was some modified version of that, right? But we did essentially a similar concept, which is we started at the end with a clear picture and we worked our way backwards, which is the same thing we're teaching our agents to do with their business planning. So my question is, what was that experience like for you? What did that do in your head? Where did that leave you? What did you experience?
Yeah. I was surprised. So being an ET, like a day-to-day person, I was surprised at my ability to paint my long-term picture. So what we did, right, we had a piece of paper and we picked a date of what a winning life looked like and painted or colored with pencils or whatever you call it.
Markers.
And so I was really surprised that I was able to do that fairly clearly. Like that picture to me is clear. Then I am able to go back and say, okay, so the first thing I need to do is this, but I got super stuck in the middle and I didn't realize that. So
3-year and 10-year goals.
3-year and 10-year, or like even what difference between 1 year and 3 year. I'm really, I am struggling with that. Like I can see the start and I can see the end. Maybe 10 years, but somewhere in the middle there, that was hard. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My other thing, and I shared that already, was I realized how much we have a structured work that has given me direction and how I do not do that at home at all.
So you're clear on your work goals,
Yes.
your work objectives, but
Yeah.
so were you able to, I mean, when you drew your picture, the picture wasn't all work though, was it?
No, there was hardly any work.
Yeah.
There's a little book in my hand.
Very few people's are.
There was a lot of hearts on your picture.
Yeah.
Okay, so your insight was end was easy,
Yeah.
and immediate goals was easy.
Yeah.
The benchmarks along the way were hard for you to picture.
Yeah.
Is that just a skill set of being able to see the stepping stones to get to something, or what do you think that was?
Yeah, and big enough thinking. Like I do struggle too at work when we set like 1 year versus 3 year goal. Like my mind doesn't expand super well.
The things I have to do next week
Are
tend to
easy.
take over.
Yes. Yeah.
What about you guys?
For me, I really would prefer to do just about anything other than sit in a room for 2 hours and talk about goals with people. But what happened in my mind was it was an idea that I thought through in that moment, but it actually had a bigger impact as the days went on. So, I actually have been carrying it around, and it's actually impacted every corner of my life recently. Like I've gone home and had a conversation with Dan, my husband, and it's made us just, it's not like I'm saying like, we got to set goals, babe. It's more like, hey, wait a second. You know, we've talked about wanting to end up here in retirement years. What are we doing now to make this happen? Like it's creating more questions for me to have to confront right now. Than I thought that it would initially when we sat in that room together. I didn't think.
What did that clarity about the end, or?
Yeah, because I could pretty easily draw my picture as well. Like that was fun. That was actually my favorite part was drawing the picture because I can envision. I've thought a lot about what do we call it? Our winter years. I've thought a lot about that in the last few years because my kids are getting older, and I know that that's like a stage that I'm looking forward to actually quite a bit. And I want to be comfortable. I want to be happy. I want to feel like I've accomplished a lot. So painting the picture was easy.
Most women your age can't handle the notion of grandchildren, and it's all you want.
I'm so excited for that stage. Yeah. But I think the harder part came when we had to take the time to think backwards and build into that. And so like what you were saying, Vic, was the 1 year, the 3 year, that got difficult, and that's still fuzzy in my brain, and I need to go sit and force myself. But if nothing else, it opened up a bunch of question marks. Then I'm like, now I'm thinking about it a lot more often. I even went home and, Dan and I have had some conversations about just some things that we need to start kind of just, you don't have to do major changes right now, but just kind of like set our lives on a different course.
Are you describing the work to be done?
Yeah.
Not the work to be done like there's an obstacle, but it's the path to the picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that what you're both describing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard. Yeah.
It is.
I did just also tell my husband that, hey, this is like what I think I would like to do when I'm 70, just making sure you're okay.
on board.
Are you going to be there for this? Yeah.
You're in the picture. I would like for it to be our dream.
Was he actually in the picture? I'm trying to
He
remember.
was. Yes, I was holding his hand, book in my other hand.
Do you bring your kids in on that, Anna? Like, do you show them these things? And
So
talk about these things?
interestingly, I haven't yet, but one of the changes we've been talking about is, hey, we're sending our kids out into the world. We're getting ready to launch our kids. And one of the things that I'm confronted with right now is, have we been intentional enough about creating good adults? Are they smart? Are they plugged in? Do they that's actually been one of our biggest things in the last week is I've talked a lot about with my husband about what we need to continue to do or change in our parenting with our children and be more intentional about. So, but we haven't pulled them in yet. That's actually a really good next step.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
The categories helped me a lot because one big lifetime picture is hard, but specifically family, specifically money, specifically, down the list. That helped a lot. And then it did come a little easier than I thought to just draw a picture without, you know, you don't have to get super specific, but just all the different areas. And you can just kind of dream, right? It doesn't have to be like the end all be all right now. It made me stretch my think, because I was sitting next to Whitney and we're kind of like looking at each other's pictures and we're talking, and I don't know how we got to this, but we got to talking about inheritance, because I did my picture assuming I was going to be 90. You told us pick any age, and I said, I'm just going to go all the way to the end-ish. I don't know if it's 90 or whatever. And we were talking about inheritance, and she was like, I'm not going to leave anything to my kids. I want them to be self-made and not expect. And I was like, well, I didn't think I would have enough to leave a child, so I never thought about, I've legitimately never considered at the end of my life would I ever even have enough to leave somebody. So it's never occurred to me to have an opinion on inheritance or no, you know, and that was just one example, but it's the same thing as like 4 years ago, I never could have imagined owning a home. So it's the stretching of thinking that it was like, wow, do I want that? Are there other things that I'm not even thinking about? Because it's never occurred to me that one day you could have enough resources to leave some. It was just, it was a stretching of thinking that was kind of like, oh, I've never thought of that before.
Yeah.
So did that evolve in the last 72
Inheritance
hours?
or
I mean,
the thinking?
well, let's just be honest. First, at 90,
your
kids are going to be pretty old too. So
there's going to be several generations
they might
at
not
that point.
need your money.
Hopefully not.
No, I
I
mean,
probably need it. Yeah.
That is one of the thoughts. Like if you raise your kids right, that presumably they don't need that.
Yeah.
Or you'd like to.
Well, so that was the whole train of thing. I was like, now I have to think this through. Like, I want them to be self-sufficient, I guess. And it was one thing after another that.
But there's a lot there. I mean, one, the limiting belief of.
It's never occurred to me. Yeah.
It's never occurred to you that your whole framework for life is that you're going to constantly be in survival all the way through 90. In the same way you never thought that you'd be able to own a home at this age.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of people your age are still running around going, yeah, it's impossible. I can't own a home. And you were like, well, hold on. I think there's a way. Let's just do it.
Yeah. So it sounds silly to say it out loud, but like now I'm like, now I think I need to go back through this picture and like, where else am I not considering something bigger or something possible that I just assumed was never going to be for me? You know what I mean? So I think I maybe need to do this again and probably do it with Jake as well. And yeah.
I mean, it just makes me think about all of our limiting beliefs. Part of the point of the lifetime extender exercise was to, the first question that we didn't do is like, when are you going to die? And then the next question is, well, they run through all this data about longevity and how that's changing. And you see the charts on how much longer people are living. And then they go, okay, so like, is it possible that you've been thinking about this wrong and you've got some limiting beliefs? And then where did they come from? Like, where did you get, because my first number when I did this exercise 15 years ago, I'm like, I'm going to die at like 74.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. Well, but
because your grandparents died at 70. Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
That was old.
Yeah.
I mean, my age now, I was like, I think you're basically dead. And so there was a lot of really good discussion about where did those, specifically to age, where did those limiting beliefs come from? And you start to look back and you go, wow. But I think that applies to.
And I mean, any of these categories, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to me. But then all of you, it sounds like we tend to have a struggle. Maybe we don't think big enough. You said the categories help.
Yes.
Everything I'm hearing is it's just like there's this giant missing framework for helping us actually think this way.
Yeah.
Life doesn't naturally help us look forward and then think about the work to be done to get to where we're trying to go.
Right.
Most people are really just meandering, wandering around.
Yep.
And school didn't help us. Most of our parents didn't help us, not because they're bad people, but because no one helped them.
This was very similar to like the Ramsey conversation 4 years ago. It's just the belief around nobody talks about money, nobody teaches you this. It's felt similar with goal setting. Nobody's beyond just what do you want to do this year in 2020? You know,
So do you have any further thoughts on why do you think people like us struggle to, and we're all pretty different.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I'm an entrepreneur that is an immigrant so when I say people like us, I am also very practical about the work I want to get done. And I really struggle to imagine big. And in the same way, like I had the same limiting beliefs you did. Like I didn't picture one day having anything to give to anybody, but those stories have all started to change. And what's changed is not just that I've done hard work, made smart decisions, accomplished some things and go, wait, my situation's now different. How did I say this?
Were you
right?
exposed to this thinking, or how did you start to change your thought?
Well, I mean, I think it started with this exercise, and going like, "What? I've never given this any thought," and then it moves to like what Anna's doing, which is sort of, well, what's the work to be done? If this is what I want, the example I gave, I want a close family.
Yeah.
I want to be an old guy that my kids call me and say, "Dad, can we do a beer?" Because I want to talk about my kids, and I've got some questions for you. And that thought to me was like, I would never call my parents for that kind of advice. So I'm like, well, what then, Anna, would the work be that I would need to do 3-year, 5-year, 10-year to get to that place? So, I mean, it's nothing profound, Abbie, right? It's just being someone forcing a context in my life to force me to look forward and go, what do I actually want?
Yeah.
And I think that's step one, is most of us have never been asked the question, what do you really want? And been given the space to think about it. And then I think we've never trained our brains, because we can go that far and go, well, I want a Maserati, or I want a house on a hill, or a picket fence, or whatever it is. Actually, that was somebody's thing.
It was.
And remind me about the picket fence and small goals for a second.
Yeah.
I'll come back to that. But yeah, no one ever did that. And then we get maybe to the point that we see the big picture, but I think our brains are not naturally wired to be able to figure out how to go from where we are to there. It might as well be, how do I jump to the moon, right?
Yeah.
These are just dreams.
Yep.
And we don't understand that dreams, I mean, one of the big things that Coach taught me was that 25 years. He sets 25 years your goals. That's just 100 quarters. Does that make sense? So you set these crazy out there pictures, but then it's just a series of compounding one quarter at a time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think time is powerful, because if you do one quarter well, and then you do another quarter well, and then you get knocked on the head and you have a bad year, but then you do another quarter well, you find 3 years later that you're in a very different place, because all of a sudden you paid off some debt and you bought that house, and and now your mind starts to stretch a little bit. You go, wait, what's possible compounded over 25 years, 100 quarters? So yeah, nothing profound, but it fundamentally does change. And my big hope is that that's what starts to manifest inside the walls. Limiting beliefs, where do they come from? Where'd yours come from?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but it is weird. Once now we've gone there, I've actually gone to, wait, is this what I want to do? So I really could do whatever I wanted to? Is this what I want to land on?
Yeah.
So it's weird. Like, once you unlock it, now I'm like, okay.
I have control of my life.
Yes, I get to choose, and I think I can do whatever I actually want to do.
You can do anything you want. You can't do everything you want. But what's possible, I always used to teach my kids, like, people get in these tiny little ruts. They happen to grow up in a certain side of town, in a certain city at a certain time in history, and their parents happen to do a certain thing. It's kind of like in the old days, your dad was a blacksmith, so you became a blacksmith.
Yeah.
But it's now, I grew up in this town, so this is the kind of language and thinking. And so then I went to this particular school, because that was the one down the road, which led me to this particular college, and I just happened to be in a certain degree. I remember my first conversation with my, what do they call them, advisor?
Yes.
I didn't have the faintest
advisor.
clue.
I know.
I wasn't thinking about my future. No. They were just like, well, what do you like? And I was like, well, I like this and this. Let's do marketing. Yeah. And so the next thing, I'm in a marketing degree. I don't even know what that is, to be honest, at 18, 19. And so then you graduate and you get your first job. And why do you pick it?
I mean, that was the next thing.
It's the only one that was available.
Will hire you.
It's the one they gave you.
Yeah. You'll take what you can get.
And that could be a great culture or a bad culture. It could be good leadership. It could be bad leadership. So we're really just flowing slowly down a path that we never picked or thought about or intentionalized. And as you go, the rut gets deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
It's like that old story about like why spaceships are a certain size or something like that. It's got to do with the width of railway.
To transport them on?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it goes all the way back to how wide Roman chariots' wheels used to be.
Yeah.
Because that defined like everything basically that we have today. So, I lost my thought.
No. Well, you were asking about limited thinking. That's where we started. I think
where
that
did they come
lost
from?
us.
You can tell I'm passionate about this. Yeah.
I was going to piggyback, because I feel like that's the same, is that I think one of the biggest questions it helped stir up in me after last week's staff day was, wait, am I doing what I want to do? Because I actually do believe it. I can do what I want. I think. But how much of my life up into this 40th year of my life is has happened because I'm doing it because others or because of the environment, or just a series of decisions that I kind of fell into, not purposely, but because I was just kind of told. And I think that's the other part that it almost kind of has crippled me in the last week, where I'm like, wait a second. Like, it just makes you all of a sudden, you're like, okay, wait, how do I hit reset on this? How do I almost feel like I had the veil pulled back in my eyes, and I've been like awakened to a reality that I didn't really feel. And now I'm like, wait a second, I can build a new reality, and
Vic,
that's scary.
If half of our team quit next week, this goal setting thing.
Yeah, this can be bad.
Following their dreams. Yeah.
Well, but at least they'll get their dreams.
But you know what? Yeah, because that's why we do it. Like, I mean,
think so.
That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Abby doesn't think so.
I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I don't know what I want yet, so
So you can stick around.
Well, I'm actually speaking in a health space. I've been working with a coach for a year and a half, and he coaches people particularly for bodybuilding shows. And I'm like, we keep kind of talking about this arbitrary bodybuilding show, but I'm like, wait a second. I don't know if I want to do a show. I want to get healthy. I want to be strong, but do I actually want to stand on a stage?
Yeah.
No, probably not.
Isn't it? Yeah. And I think it is crazy because often we just go, and we just don't stop and actually realize where we have gone to.
Yes.
It's like, you wanted to get healthy. You found a coach. He's passionate about something. Now you're aligning with him, but are you actually passionate about it?
That's where I've stopped. I'm like, where has this conversation gone from we're just lifting to all of a sudden we've got to like plan into it and backwards from dates and stuff. And I'm like, wait. I don't know if I want this. So it's like I said, it's almost like a veil has been pulled back. I'm seeing a little more clearly, and I'm actually like, wait a second, I can say what I want. I don't have to do things because others want me to.
Sure.
You know?
So a handful more questions. We started with drawing a picture. I did that intentionally because I think it's a silly exercise. Vic, we talked about they have to be big fat markers.
Yes.
They can't be.
They had to be difficult to write with, so everybody felt better about it.
So why does drawing a picture help? Why did drawing a picture help? You all said that part was easy.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. For me, visualizing something is easier than writing the words.
well, it felt a little less serious, right?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't
It felt
so weighty.
whimsical, I think is the word I was.
And it just gets your wheels turning without like, I'm writing this down, so it's serious and it's real, and I have to be held accountable to this. Like, I'm just sketching a picture, just imagining.
And you could laugh about it. Like, we were sitting next to other people, and we were pointing things out to one another, and I was like, hey, look at that, and I was pointing at someone else's, and it was just kind of, it took the depth, the gravity out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the reason I asked the question is because I think framework matters so much. Like we said at the beginning, goals. The minute I say that, like we're going to set goals, my brain does a certain thing.
Yes.
And I think about numbers that I have to achieve next year.
Yes. It feels like pressure too.
Yes. And it's short term, and it's almost like expectations. Like I'm expected to have goals for next year. But this is a game of what do I want?
Yep.
And I think the reason I'm bringing this up is to say I think step one in my brain is we need to all teach ourselves or encourage each other to reframe those questions and ask a better question. Like the question is, what do you really want out of this? Like, what do you really want out of life? Where are you trying to go? And then the second is almost like why. What I've learned is most people don't know where they're trying to go. But once you do know where you're trying to go, you need to ask why that matters, because the why is the driver. Like when you know, I want a close family. Yeah, but like why? And then the reason I get emotional when I share that is because it's like, well, because that was such a big part of my story, right? So once you understand your why, I think now you've got the fuel. So yeah, I think I'm just suggesting that what I learned out of that is I was never asked good questions like that.
Yeah.
And I think part of our work is to keep asking better questions of everyone. What are you trying to get? Why are you trying to get there? Yeah. The next question I've got is working backwards. Talk to me about that. We're spending a lot of time on this with our agents. We're saying, hey, go set your lifetime goals. And then every year when you're setting your 1 years and your quarterlies, do it from the framework of where you're trying to go. So if we're clear about where we're going and we're clear about why that matters, we've got a direction and we've got fuel. Right?
Yep.
Talk to me about working backwards and what you've learned so far or experienced about why that matters.
That part wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. For some of them, some categories, I'm still a little fuzzy on what a 10 or a 3 look like. But some of them I was like, duh, this and that, and then this, and then this, and then wow, there's no excuse now. Like this isn't that hard when you break it down.
It's just a series of quarters
Yep.
or even days.
Yep. And all super actionable small pieces to take. But I liked what we talked about in that day was that sometimes though you really do need somebody who is maybe a few steps ahead of you to help you think. Like, so there are a few that I'm like, I should probably sit down with somebody and talk to them and say, what would this look like at a 10-year point? And I would need somebody who's done this maybe a couple of times and is a little more versed in it and can say, well, you're not thinking big enough, or consider this, or so some parts of it I am struggling with. Some parts were not. I was like, this is very clear. There is no excuse for me not to do this in 10 years if this is genuinely what I really want. But I think I do need somebody to talk to that's maybe further ahead that would have some expertise to share, or just ask good questions, because obviously I should self-discover it. But
my brain's so black and white that I struggled from working backwards. And so what I've done, I realize though, as we're just sitting here, ways that I've set long-term goals. Financial ones are a good example, where it was going to be a 3-year journey for us to reach a goal. And I mean, who sticks with a goal for 3 years? But the way that we did it was we started with the end and we worked backwards on the amounts of hard money, cash, we were going to need to fund to pay off a debt and to reach our goal. And when I could break it backwards by every month, we need to come up with this much extra money to put towards this thing. That made it easy and bite-sized for me. But goals, like where you want to end up in life, that aren't so hard and structured like money, that's where my brain cannot break it down into
amortization schedule of getting to a 3-year debt reduction is a very different beast than this is the meaning I want to have derived from my life one day.
Yeah.
That was the same with me. The financial one, I was like, this is so clear because it's measurable.
Easy.
And then the more intangible ones, I was like, I don't know what this looks like in 10 years. Yeah.
I think my biggest thing too is just, it was difficult for me, but it was also 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Like, I think I just need to take time to actually think it through. You can't, if you can do it that quickly, then.
Well, you've all said this in various ways. Like, you all need a couple hours to do that exercise. I think everyone in that room needs that.
Yeah.
And then I also think you need a context to do it, either with a spouse or someone else that you can like share those thoughts, like you said, insight from others. I think there's a lot of work to be done. Have none of you done that yet? I mean, you've started, you have?
I mean, just conversation with my husband, brought him into the loop and talked a lot of big picture with him. Like, hey, what was great for me that helped me get a black and white picture was actually drawing the picture and putting a date and an age. I think I chose age 75 or something, and I put the year, and that's because I have something like that in my head. I was able to work backwards, and then when I wanted to try to explain it to Dan, I said, okay, think about what our life's going to look like. And then I could give him something tangible. We're both setting a tangible time together to look forward to and talk about. And if nothing else, it's just spurring the thoughts, the questions, the conversations right now. Nothing actionable, though, because I still think I need to spend more time just sitting and thinking.
Yeah, so I've done the same thing. Like, had kind of a same page with my husband. Some of the things would be mine, but some would be ours. And he's pretty good then at, okay, so let's go. Like, he's a little bit more quick start than me, because I'm like, okay, now I have the plan. He's like, well, now let's take action. So, I mean, it's been said before, like, one thing.
This is after he agreed that he does want to be a part of your long-term
He does want to be. So, I mean, we laugh about it. It's silly, right? But we are in a life where we just go with little kids, and we're finally able to breathe and stop and figure out what's next. Like, they made it. No one fell down the stairs or anything like that. So now we get to... Well, your story, I think a lot of people know about where you've been with Oliver and like personal, like just life stuff, right? Trying to solve for kids' health and things like that. I was talking to somebody else yesterday, no names, but the similar situation, right? Yeah. It is interesting when there's chapters in life where everything just becomes about what you need to do to get your loved ones through this chapter. And then you get to the end of that, and it's like there's a moment to come back up and go, okay, let's push reset here. Where are we trying to go again? Let's remind ourselves of these lifetime goals and get back on track. I feel like you're in that chapter. I am. It's been perfect timing. He got cleared by the doctors, and we both walked out, and we're like, looked at each other. Now what? Like, I mean, we, we just spend 8 years getting him healthy enough to survive a surgery, and he did, and he's looking great. But now what? Like, now we get to dream, and now we get to, like, we actually asked him too, what do you want to do? Like, what's your goal for the year? And because for him too, it's been make it to the next doctor's appointment, right? So. We definitely, I think you're right. From time to time, you are just in survival, and you are just, what is the next thing I need to do?
Yeah.
And then, but the opportunity is there now for us to continue to do nothing or to stop and actually take time and set the goals. Like, I think you still have to intentionally make the decision that this is important to you.
Well, and that just... what you guys have been focused on for 8 years was something that was decided for you.
Yes.
And so whether that's a big issue in your life or not right now, all of us have to decide to go and intentionalize deciding where we're going.
Yeah.
The picket fence thing that I wanted to bring up,
Yes.
because I nearly forgot.
Yeah.
Who was that again?
Julie.
Was it Julie?
Julie. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys remember how I responded or reacted to that?
You can do that this year.
Yeah.
That's when you can check off the list.
What do you think I meant? Or like, what was I thinking?
We can help. That was where I went.
It's more, it's more attainable
That's
than
good.
you think.
That's
We
a
sell
real
houses
easy-
here.
Yeah.
We sell houses and
Let us help.
But what I really was feeling, my experience has been that because I can actually, I've got the luxury of going back. I can go back and actually look every single quarter.
Yeah.
I can look back at the things I was saying I was going to work on next. And looking back over 15 years of playing this game, I've learned that almost everything that I thought I wanted to accomplish, I ended up accomplishing much sooner than I ever imagined. My goals were always smaller than what's possibly true. And it's the we say it a lot, but it's so true now in my life. I believe this for everybody. We overestimate what we can accomplish in a year and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10.
Yes.
And when you know where you're going and you start breaking it into actionable steps, magical things happen. You actually start going in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start to realize your limiting beliefs and how small your imagination is. I'm embarrassed even by my picture that I drew of how I lack imagination. Like, I think that my picture it was 20 years from now was the one that I drew, is going to be significantly different than what I even drew there.
Mm-hmm.
But I struggle with that imagination. My point here, I think, is that I think everyone's dreaming smaller than they could. And I think that's natural, especially for a bunch of executors and administrators. We're all purple and blue. But I do love the idea that people get to some of these things that they thought were lifetime goals.
Yeah.
Much sooner.
You buying a
Right.
house,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
You thought that was out of reach.
Yeah.
Turned out it really wasn't even that much of a challenge.
It was easier than I thought it was going to be. Yeah.
I think a lot of stuff's like that.
Yeah.
And what I love about that is the compounding impact in your soul of, wait, that's possible.
And then you
Yeah.
get a
This is
little taste
possible.
of it and you get excited. And
yeah.
what else? Yeah.
But it all starts with clarity of what you actually want and then deciding to take action steps that are the obvious benchmarks there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not getting in your own way. How do I describe this? So one of my goals in life is actually to be content and happy. And so,
What's your 3-year plan to get there?
no, I
We
know,
need your actionable steps.
But so I get kind of like, I actually can get kind of scared of like, okay, wow, this is so big. Like, do I really want to do that? And I lost my words that were in my head.
What's big?
I don't think anything on my picture, but like there's been certain things and thoughts that I wanted that I was kind of embarrassed to go after, or I'm trying to describe what I'm thinking, but I think it's also, we set safe goals because we get scared to go after what we want
And fail, maybe?
and fail and not get there. Yeah.
I was going to say, you can just say it in Viking if you want.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. I think there's like
well, and to be held accountable, because you asked me at my annual a few weeks ago, well, what's your van, right? And I almost didn't want to tell you because I was like, then he's going to hold me accountable to it, and then I have to do it, and I want to do it, but then somebody's going to ask me, and I'm going to like.
You want to explain finding your van?
Yeah.
Well, in your case, your adventure van is at some point, which now is in the next year, you want to be able to go.
32 days.
Oh, okay.
No,
sorry.
someone's gotta count down.
32 days. Yeah.
What Jen made for my birthday?
Like a flip
No,
calendar.
little paper
Chain link.
links.
Yeah.
She made me.
Take one
She
down.
bought me a miniature van and painted it the same color as our van.
That's awesome.
It's like this big. And
So every day you wake up and you tear one off.
literally.
Oh.
And yesterday,
Like a 5-year-old.
yesterday I actually counted the days, and I went and I realized there was like 4 that I was behind.
Oh,
So I got to tear 4 chain
Yep.
links
and
off.
that was extra fun. Yeah.
So I know it's 32. Anyway, back to your story.
Well, I'm
What's
telling your story that you wanted to get to a point where you could, in your adventure van, get in the van and leave for a month. And it wasn't about not liking work or not wanting to be here. It was just that you could go be in the wilderness and unplug if you wanted to for however much time. And you've been talking about your van for like, I don't know,
Many years.
7 or 8
years.
years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's
Yep.
become the metaphor. Well, what's your van? What's your someday
Yeah.
I want to be able to just
Mm-hmm.
go work in Denmark for a quarter or
Mm-hmm.
go be a grandma. And yeah, so you asked me and I was like, but if I tell you, then I
Are
have
we
to be held
sharing our
accountable."
vans at all today?
Yeah, I'm kind
Are
of
we? Do you wanna
curious.
do
You
it?
can. Yeah. Well, I told you that you guys know I was born and raised in Florida, and I, for the most part, don't miss it. But one part of it I do miss is this one spot at the beach that we went to every year as a family. And we just have a lot of family history there. We have a lot of pictures. We have a lot of stories. It's a special spot. My parents still go back every year. They have a timeshare there. And I said, that's my van. I want to, and I have always wanted this since I was a kid. I've imagined that is one thing I always imagined bringing my spouse and my kids there one day with my parents. And I don't think I've ever actually told them that, so maybe I should tell them that. So I said, that is my van, is I want a timeshare would not be smart. Now that I'm in real estate, a condo that I could rent out and make some income on is way smarter. But I want a home or a condo or something in that exact same spot that I can go to every year with my family, my kids, and enjoy the same spot that I just loved as a kid and still love. So that's my
That's
my van.
awesome.
Good.
So someday I will be gone for the entire month of July.
So everybody now we know, and we're looking for accountability.
Dang it.
Recorded.
And it can't be a timeshare now, which is way easier.
You guys want to share yours, or you don't have to? I'm just curious.
I don't mind sharing because I think I'm still building mine out. Like I've talked a lot about being a grandma, but that's fun and that'll happen, and I'm sure. And if it doesn't happen, so be it. But something that's kind of been in my mind lately has been I would like to have. Farm is not the right word, but like a self-sustaining, off-the-grid acreage.
Homestead, is that what they call
Homestead
that?
was the
Commune,
word I
yeah.
called it. Yeah, I want to be a little more self-sustaining. I want to have a garden, maybe a pig and a cow and some chickens.
This is definitely a talk to Dan story. Is
Yeah,
he on board with
he's
this?
on board.
He knows that this was a dream. So it started when I was younger. My grandparents had a farm, and I turned 18 the year that they auctioned and sold all their things and moved into a house. And I will forever regret that I didn't have the resources to buy that farm, because that was something I wanted when I was a little girl. We'd just spend hours there running around. I loved it. And so, yeah, I think the older I get, the more I learn about the world, the less I want to be part of the structure, and I want to go build my own. I want to go do my own little homestead that's self-sustaining. And yeah, so that's my van.
What's
right
your
now.
why behind that?
I think it's a little bit of breaking away from society a little bit. Like, I don't
It's a
know.
domain you can have full and complete control
Yeah.
over. It's Anna's kingdom.
I know I can't do it on my own, so Dan better be on board with this. But yeah, it's a dream.
Good insight there, Abbie, by the way.
As soon as she said self-contained, I was like, I know what this is.
Yeah,
Yeah. Contained within my control.
my
Yes.
control. Yeah.
Sit down, pig. Good luck with the chickens.
Yeah.
They're not easy to control.
No.
You need wire for that.
Yep.
That's awesome.
How about you?
Yeah,
Am I putting you on the spot?
a little bit.
You don't
because
have to.
I have like different vans, but I'll share a silly van that doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
I always wanted to be in a Hall of Fame. How silly is that? Like,
Aren't you? Kind of, but I was.
No.
Your faces and
no,
your silhouettes.
but
in
it
the
had to
hall.
do with like I think significance and like would have made it, and I have realized to the extent that what a silly van. So I'm struggling with my van because it's always been something materialistic, and I think I want it to be maybe my book is my van. I don't know. Yeah, I'm a little lost. Like, I can see where I want to be in 70 years. I would love to live on a farm, have no animals, don't need any. We can have a dog. That's fine. I would love to have lots of land and just a peaceful environment. I would love to, figure out a way to incorporate Denmark in America. Not sure what that looks like. America's home, but Denmark.
That's about your soul. That's about, I've got these two worlds and I've always felt torn between them.
Yeah.
And somehow your future looks like that tornness coming back together, right? That's what you drew.
Yeah. So my van is just not that clear. And I think that's some of the work to be done for me. I mean, I would love an investment property. Like, I can think of all sorts of things, but there's not one driver. And I'm trying to get to the bottom of what that is.
Well, and I want to be clear, a van, we made this up, right?
Yeah.
So, like, this isn't somewhere in a psychology manual.
No.
But a van, because a van certainly isn't some lifetime outcome. It's not like I want a close family. It's a little bit of it's more like a 10-year mission.
Yes.
Right?
That's
Like
what I think about
it's
it as.
achievable. You can do it.
Yeah.
It's something you can get to. And probably once you get the van, not me.
Not you.
You might sleep in it for several weeks and realize, man, I really want my bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of these things, once you get to homestead or whatever it is, you might be like, well, geez, I don't want this condo on the beach anymore. I want to be somewhere else this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they're things that drive us because they're it's almost like the podcast we did on needs versus wants. I mean, we feel like we have to justify it. Like, I need this. I don't need a van. I want it. It's beautiful. It's a metaphor for my life and the freedom I desire. And it's something worth chasing. And I believe the only way I get it is by creating value for other people. And I think humans need something like that to go chase. They aren't the actual things that are going to bring fulfillment in our lives. So I just want to be clear on what a van is, right?
Yeah.
I don't think a van's the more important thing. I think the more important thing is clarity on what you actually want out of life. A van is this motivator of almost a selfish desire. And I feel like talking about the van is more about being honest with yourself and asking yourself, what do I like? What's fun for me? Because I do think that we should learn to be a little more selfish in those desires, because if we suppress all that, I just think we're suppressing who we are. And again, when we have the right abundance mindset and we believe that the only way we're going to get our vans is by giving, not taking. So I love that you guys are on a journey of figuring those out.
Yeah.
And I just want you to make sure you also are getting clarity and don't get vans confused with big picture lifetime goals. They're different things.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that's what I shared, right? I am struggling with the middle. So I know I have some work to be done. And I spend a lot of my life with goals that I achieved and did great that were very just me. And then I became a mom and something just changed in me of it was all about the people in my life, and making them happy made me happy. And now I'm having this third stage of, well, now I made it through something big. My people are happy. My people are safe. Now what do I actually want? And I'm not quite sure. That's my journey. I have some things, but yeah.
Some people have a thought of, it's selfish for me to be asking that question. Yeah. Is that a thing at all for you?
Yeah. I mean, I find the most joy through others.
Yeah.
And so it just feels weird. But I think it's important.
Yeah.
I can't bring joy to others if I don't know what my joy is. So that has been my self-discovery for a while, and I'm getting more and more at peace with it. But I do want to find Vic again. She likes to cook. I know that.
Well, I
love my people.
I think motherhood also just makes you kind of lose your sense of self as well.
It does.
So you have a double whammy where you've had health issues with Oliver, but also you're kind of still in the thick of your kids really needing you.
Yeah.
Because now I feel like I'm past that, and I'm actually, and I was raised very much where it was
past motherhood.
No.
No, little kids.
Childhood. But I even think before I had kids, I was raised in a world that told us that it was selfish and sinful to focus on yourself. And so I have broken through a lot of barriers there in some of my upbringing and my religious, surroundings. And then had my kids, and I did pour all of me into my kids for those years. And now they don't need me as much. I mean, they need me in different ways. And so I'm at a point now where I'm like, okay, I actually think I'm okay with being selfish. I don't feel guilty for being selfish, but now what do I want? So it's still a big question mark.
It's a dangerous point. I watched my wife go through this point.
Yes.
There's so much of your identity tied up in that. And
Yes.
then the kids are like, and you're just starting there. Give it 3 more years when they've all got cars and they're doing their own thing. There's a existential crisis of like, who am I now? It's a beautiful thing, and I think it's natural and good, but it is fun watching people go through it. And I don't think it's just ladies, by the way. I think it's true for guys as well.
Yeah.
I think
Absolutely.
it's not the same for sure, but I think we as dads also get our world wrapped up in kids and kids sports and what our kids are doing. And then you get to this point where all of a sudden you're sitting at home at 7:00 at night, the kids aren't around, and you're like, who are we?
Yes. I mean, yes.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
what do we do
actually
now? Yeah.
been some of my conversation with Dan was like, hey, we have to continue to find things to keep us connected. I mean, I've said that to him in the last week, that just as we're thinking about our future together, hey, don't forget, our kids aren't always going to have activities to keep us plugged in together and tied together. What do we have that brings us together?
And your thesis is chickens and a pig.
He doesn't know this yet, so
Well, no.
Just send him the podcast. Don't even talk
Yeah,
to him.
yeah.
Just send it to him.
Okay, we got to wrap this up a little bit. What I want to know is individually next steps that you need to say out loud that you need to commit to. And then Vic, from you after that, if you wouldn't mind sharing next steps for our team and what you would like to see happen. Let's start with you guys individually. What do you need to put out into the world so that you hold yourself accountable?
I don't want to hold myself accountable. No, I do.
We got you.
I need to not finish thinking about it, but finish thinking about it and sit down with Jake and finish it, because we only did a couple of the categories, right?
Yeah.
So I need to finish it, thoroughly think through it, talk to Jake, think through it again, I'm sure, make tweaks, and then go do the first steps, whatever they may be for all of those things. So I need to finish the goal setting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wish we'd had more time during the day.
But I need to go make time to do that, unhurried and undistracted and whatever.
And you in a private space in a room where you actually give this thought, not with me standing up front prescribing it, is really what you need.
But then I like to talk things through with somebody. So I need to talk it through with Jake. But then on the areas that I have like big blanks, I need to go find somebody that has done this and go, what do I do here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anna?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat where it's spurred all these questions in my head, but I actually want to sit down and finish the exercise as well. But I want to go to a coffee shop. I want to spend some time by myself. I want to really look inside of me because, like I said, I've struggled with wanting to kind of do the things that people around me have told me my whole life. I actually need to spend some time thinking about me and what I want to do. And I think it's just go spend some time alone with me and my
Chicken.
thoughts, my chicken.
Chickens, yeah. I think about it a little bit like when we did the unique ability workshop, and it was a year, and you wrote a little and you put it away, and wrote a little and put it away. Like that's how I'm wanting to approach it.
That's good.
I can't just sit down one day and write my goals and commit to them. It has to be a process of then evaluating and back and forth. So I need to build a system with my family as well where we do this. And then build accountability both at work and at home. Actually, this morning, my husband asked me how I was doing on my book because I did share that with him. So,
The book is literal.
Yeah, you need to explain.
It's metaphorical.
it's not a thing.
It's explain it real quick. It's capturing what or doing what.
I think it's being able to be this person in people's lives that they come to, they can rely on, that can pour wisdom and joy and happiness into their lives. I don't know what packaging that looks like, but that's what the metaphor of the book is, which actually feels very selfish to think of myself as a person that people would quote unquote buy a book to read my words.
It's better than the Hall of Fame.
It sure is. So for our staff, what I really want, right? So we talked about 1-year goals. They have the goal sheet. I want you guys to take those off the shelf again and think them through and then bring them to their check-ins with me. As much as they feel the need to or want to, obviously there's a part of it that's about work. So I would love to learn about how we can help our people grow at work. If there's anything they want to share personally, love to hear it. But more so, we are here to help create the system, to help make sure that this is not just a one-time thing. I want this to become something that we do yearly, something just like unique ability that we work through. I love Abbie's suggestion, maybe of groups. Like if you don't have someone outside of here you want to do it with, if you want to do it with a coworker, I'd love to help facilitate that. But more so just know that you can share as much or as little as you want. But I think having that accountability will help. And I know to some, it's probably weird that that's something that we do at work with personal goals. But so I get that. I get that barrier. So don't feel like you have to like bare your soul and share your deepest, darkest secrets. It's just literally because we care and we want to help if we can. If for nothing else than accountability.
Yeah, I think it was really profound what you said before that as well on your process of like just a chunk at a time.
Yeah.
I think the struggle with this is it's very likely to find yourself frustrated because you don't have clarity or you,
yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to do this and get clarity. The point is you're opening up a space in your mind you've never asked questions in this space.
Mm-hmm.
And it ought to take a while to develop clarity. And frankly, every 3 to 5 years, your clarity will evolve because
you're achieving your goals or you're changing them or
they do shift in time. I mean, but also it's the first time you've ever flexed this muscle of asking yourself what you actually want. And so I do think there's a journey and a process, one. And then secondly, I love that you're doing this as your job.
Yes, me too.
And no one owes us their personal goals.
No.
Like we don't, no one's obligated.
No.
We're such a weird company.
Yes.
We sell houses and we serve agents, but in large part, we're just a bunch of kids in a playground and we're trying to figure out what we like and we want certain things. And we figured out that the way to get what we want is to help other people get what they want. Mm-hmm. And a big part of that is helping people become the best version of them. We started with a journey of trying to figure out, okay, like, what does it look like at work? How do we work well together? Mm-hmm. How do we know what we do? How do we know how we win? And then we said, okay, but we really need to understand who we are, because if we understand us and each other, we can do a better job of just figuring out the silliness in our minds and brains and habits and whatever. And then if we can gain some skills on how to deal with each other better, we can get even better at that. And it's not, this is the capstone, right?
Yes.
And I think what we're endeavoring to do, if you want to join us on the journey, is we're on a journey. I think you can hear that.
Yes.
None of us have got this figured out. We're on a personal journey of trying to figure out what we want out of this crazy thing we call life. We want to do it alongside you guys. We want to help our agents. We want to serve our clients. We want to build beautiful businesses, but really want to live. And there's something so beautiful about this. And so I think we're asking for trust.
Trust, maybe.
As much as you want to let us in, we want to be a part of your individual journeys. And there's just a deep belief that if we can partner together and we can all create value in the world, we can help everybody achieve their personal goals. And I think most of our goals are smaller than we think. Yeah. I think most of us can accomplish far more than we've ever imagined. I think very few of us had great role models or teachers or leaders in these spaces. And so I think it's so beautiful and fun that we're trying to just poke around in the dark and figure this out together. So I appreciate you pushing.
Yeah. I love it.
And I guess there's a bunch of homework to do now.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I'm excited.
Vic, close us out.
Close us out?
You want to say something in Viking, or how do we want to
sing a song? Yeah.
No. But I just think I think this is a very meaningful journey to go on, and so I'm excited to do that with our people. We talk about meaningful work all the time, and I think work-life balance is also integration. So I'm excited for people to go on a journey of a meaningful life, not just meaningful work. So
nice.
I think we're doing it.
Yeah.
Good job, ladies. Thanks for your insights today.